Is Bahrain the secretly cool guy in the Middle East? And what's the difference between all the countries in the Arabian Peninsula? Well, stay tuned, let's find out how Bahrain stands out. Hello Internet, welcome to Lex Universe. So this video is a kind of a late conclusion to my trip to Bahrain. In the video I showed you around, I gave you some first impressions, what you can expect from this country. It's a pretty small country, so you don't need to spend a lot of days there. If you want, that's okay, that's up to you. But it makes a great day trip from Saudi Arabia, which was my case. But let me give you some info, what you may need to know if you want to travel to Bahrain, either from Saudi Arabia or from anywhere else for a holiday or whatever you want. This video is just for you. But before we begin, I would like to welcome all new subscribers to this channel. It means a lot. I really love you for that. And if you haven't subscribed yet and you will like this video and you like everything on my channel, please do. It doesn't cost you anything, it helps me a lot. But now let's talk about Bahrain. Let's start with some general info for context, because that's always helpful. Bahrain is located in the Middle East, just off the eastern coast of the Arabian Peninsula. It's a very small island. It's not actually only one island. It consists of 33 natural islands and many artificial islands that have been built, especially when you look at the map at the southern coast of Bahrain. Like I said, Bahrain is pretty small. It only measures some 50 kilometers from north to south and only roughly 16 kilometers from east to west. So it's pretty much walkable if you have a lot of time and well, you can withstand the summer in the Middle East, which I will get to later. There are some 1.5 million inhabitants in Bahrain. Most of them live in the capital of Manama. Well, Manama is not a very large city. It's actually a very large metropolitan area which consists almost all of the cities in the island. So you may not even realize you're moving from one city to another. It's a large area located in the north of the island. So, like I said, it's an island that's located in the Persian Gulf. The closest neighbor is 40 kilometers distant Saudi Arabia, with which it is connected by the King Fahd Causeway. If we want to go to Bahrain, first we have to find out how to get there. There are several options. Like I said, it's an island, so you cannot drive there, although, well, like I said, you can. There are two bridges built across the bay and you can drive all the way from Khobar, Saudi Arabia to Bahrain. There are several bus connections, I will talk about it, but if you want to travel by this causeway, there is one advantage that you will have. If you're staying in Saudi Arabia for more than 3 months or you have a permanent residence there, you may visit Bahrain visa-free if you travel on this highway. You will get the so-called King Fahd Causeway visa, which is for free. Otherwise, you will have to pay for the visa, but you will be granted the visa on arrival here, no matter what. It costs 5 Bahraini dinars, while if you want to buy it in advance online, it costs 9 dinars. Also, if you have a visa for Saudi Arabia, you will be eligible for the visa on arrival at any point in Bahrain, which, well, honestly, it's only the other option how to get to the country, and that's by flying, so at Manama International Airport. You may fly to Bahrain from all of the surrounding countries, but if you want to travel from further distance, you may use the services of Gulf Air, which is the national carrier of Bahrain. But you may fly with other Middle Eastern airlines like Emirates, Etihad, Qatar Airways, Turkish Airlines, and so on. There is also a low-cost option. You may use the new route from Manama to Abu Dhabi that's operated by Wizz Air, and that then connects to many airports in continental Europe. Now, if you want to get from the airport and you don't have a car, well, you don't because you've just flown in, but you may rent it. I will get to it later. But you may use the bus number A1, which will take you directly to the downtown Manama and also stops on the island Warak. If you want to make sure to have a visa in advance, you can go to this address and apply for it online. But like I said, it's more expensive. And if you're traveling there only for 1 day, they will want the address of your accommodation, which you obviously cannot give them, so that kind of makes no sense. If you want to travel to Saudi Arabia by bus, there are direct connections from Saudi Arabia, from the coastal city of Dammam. They're operated by the Subco company. I will give you the link here and also in the description below, where you can buy the tickets online. That's very useful. Then you will just have to stop on this artificial island in the middle of the causeway, where you will go through the customs check and to border controls. It's lengthy, but the travel overall takes some 2 to 3 hours, so it's not that horrible. It's doable and it's not so much hassle, but like I said, I don't really like overland border crossings. That's kind of a thing. Well, speaking of which, if you're getting the visa on arrival, you will just pay here at the border control. And they accept cards, which is always good. The bus runs twice a day, in the morning and in the afternoon, and it's both directions. So it's really perfect for a day trip. Now, if you want to drive, there is a toll for using the causeway, which is 2.5 dinar or 25 Saudi riyals for one way. And don't forget that if you have rented a car in Saudi Arabia, in majority of cases you cannot cross the border with it. So if you really need that, ask in advance, but it will require a lot more paperwork and also some additional finance. Now, if you want to get around Bahrain, first of all, the one thing that I would like to say, I've read almost everywhere that the only form of transportation that makes sense in Bahrain is to get a taxi or rent a car. That is not the case. There is a pretty good bus network in Bahrain that will take you all around, especially the northern part of the island, but there are some lines to the south. You will find the whole network here on this link, and you will also find the link down in the description below, as always. The price for one trip is 0.23 dinars, and they don't accept cards, and you need to have exact change, so yeah, get some. Yeah, and just pay to the driver when you enter the bus. Pretty simple. There are 2 terminals of the bus network, that's Manama, Muharraq and Issa Town, and these are kind of hubs for all the lines that then spread out throughout the whole island. You can also download the mobile app that will help you finding your routes, but I actually only was using Google Maps and it was just okay. It's very useful because of course you don't know there is Google Maps and you need me to tell you about it. So yeah, have you ever heard of Google Maps? Very useful. If you don't want to travel by bus, then you may walk, but I should warn you that Manama and Bahrain in general are not very pedestrian friendly. If you have watched my video from Bahrain, and if you haven't, you definitely should, you may see this just giant network of expressways, pretty much like Dubai. Yeah. I mean, you can say pretty much the same thing about majority of Middle Eastern cities. I don't know why that is, but they are very car oriented. So if you are a pedestrian, you will get by, but you will struggle quite a lot. Which brings me to the next point. You may rent a car or get a taxi, or there is also Uber, but these are quite expensive. If money is not an issue for you, then definitely go for it. It will help you a lot. But like I said, getting around on foot with the help of the buses, it's pretty much okay. And it really depends what else you want to see around Bahrain. If you want to travel somewhere further from Manama, somewhere further to the south, you may really need a car. So you may plan ahead. The renting companies offer a car for something between 10 and 20 dinars a day. So suit yourself if it's something that you are willing to pay. Now let's talk about money. The Bahraini dinar is actually a currency with the second highest single value of all the currencies around the world after the Kuwaiti dinar. Pretty much one dinar is some $2.5. So yeah, when I say 20 dinars, it's actually quite a lot. It's like $60 per day. Yeah. Regarding prices, they're pretty much on the same level as Saudi Arabia, maybe a bit more expensive, but just really slightly. it is not exactly a cheap country, but you may say the same thing about majority of the Arabian Peninsula, so it's not that surprising. But it's not really like on the level of Iceland, it's lower, but really not extremely cheap. Now moving on, let's talk about safety. The country is pretty much safe. If I don't consider some petty crimes like pickpocketing or something like that, then I think you are safe. It's pretty much one of the most liberal countries in the Middle East, so that's kind of nice. Alcohol is totally legal there, so it actually serves as a place where many Saudi people go if they want to get a drink, because as I've already mentioned in my Saudi Arabia review, it's banned there, so they go drink to Bahrain, so it's kind of a party capital of the Arabian Peninsula. You may get alcoholic drinks for a fairly affordable price in many of alcohol shops around Manama, so that's cool. Just don't drink in public, that's usually frowned upon if not plain illegal. Regarding languages, the official language is of course Arabic, but from my experience, almost everybody in Bahrain speaks English. It's like the second unofficial language of the country, and you will get by pretty much everywhere. Even the signposts are in English, also in English, and unlike in Saudi Arabia, even the numbers are the ones that we use in the Western world, so win-win. Now, Bahrain is located in the Middle East, as I've said, so the climate is pretty much what you could expect. I mean, almost everybody has been in Dubai. We are only slightly more to the north than Dubai, so you can expect what you will experience there. It's very pleasant in winter, pretty much spring weather with a sense of desert, but if you're coming here in summer, well, that's a whole other story. You will not survive outside, and inside is pretty much air conditioned to the very low degrees, so bring a jacket because otherwise you will freeze, which is really bonkers, but they don't have anything like energy crisis, so they can throw money out of their pockets all the time. So that was just a short introduction to Bahrain. If you have any more questions, just write them down in the comments down below. I will try to help you as much as I can. And if you enjoyed this video, please give me a like, subscribe to my channel, check out my other social media, check out the previous videos on my channel, especially the video from Bahrain, and I will see you next time. Bye.